What is important is that we are setting a momentum, and that we are the dollar amount or euro amount is in fact an indication of our ambitions rather than a very precise measurement of any kind.
Welcome to the Chief AI Officer podcast,
where AI meets leadership.
And here is your host, Sanjay Puri.
Welcome to the CAIO podcast, your go-to source for insights into the world of Chief AI Officers. I'm your host, Sanjay Puri, and in today's episodes, we are diving into the fascinating realm of AI leadership with one of the world's most renowned companies, Michelin. Joining us is Ambica Rajagopal, Group Chief Data and AI Officer at Michelin. With a mission to sustainably improve the mobility of goods and people, Michelin's commitment to innovation extends beyond tires, incorporating cutting-edge AI and data strategies to shape the future of transportation. Ambica leads the charge in steering Michelin's AI initiatives, and today we'll uncover her journey, insights, and the challenges she faces in driving AI innovation within this global enterprise. Ambica, welcome to the CIO podcast.
Thank you so much, Sanjay, for your kind invitation to share my thoughts on this forum with your listeners, and excited for our conversation.
Well, wonderful. As we discussed before, it's a global listener base around the world. People who have interest in AI, people who are practitioners of AI, people who are leaders in AI like yourselves. So to begin, can you tell our listeners about your journey and what inspired you to pursue a career in artificial intelligence, Ambica?
Yes, Sanjay. In fact, I'm one of those who sort of were in this field, before it really, it got so famous, or became the thing to talk about. My joke that I make these days is that I spent most of my career trying to convince my business stakeholders to really think seriously about implementing AI, and now I can't go to a party without being asked about it. So that's really been the journey. So I started with an interest to pursue pure mathematics as a PhD student in the US, and from there I realized that while mathematics is very beautiful, and I'm really lucky to continue to study it even today. What really energizes me is working with people. And so I pivoted into the field of computational finance, and I became what was called a quant, which essentially we built, quantitative models for various processes. And in some sense, that's what I continue to do today. And, but really very fortunate to have AI sort of reach this peak in its own journey as a technology during the peak years of my career.
Fantastic. So you've gone across quant, you've gone across computer science, and now from academics to cocktails, you're talking about AI, chat GPT, and all those other wonderful things. And before you couldn't talk about any of that stuff. Ambica, as I said, we have global listeners. Obviously, most of them are familiar with Michelin if they've driven any kind of a vehicle. But just give our listeners a little broader perspective about Michelin. And then also, what does your role as Chief Data and AI Officer at Michelin mean in terms of your roles and responsibilities?
Yes. So Michelin, as you know, it's we are a mobility company. We are a composites company. We believe in building a better way forward for everyone. We have we are the core of our the way we do things at Michelin is people X profit X planet. So we believe in having a balanced approach in all our endeavors across the three dimensions. So from an AI and data perspective, I lead data and AI implementation, execution, strategy for the Michelin Group. It's been a I've been in this role for a few years, and it's really been a fantastic journey. Well supported by all my business stakeholders, and also a strong vision from the senior leadership of Michelin.
Well, we're going to come to some of those points that you raised, but uh, for our listeners, Michelin is a global leader in the tire industry. How does Michelin leverage AI and data to enhance its products and services? Talk uh, to our listeners, to your peers, and to potential employees as to how, because when people think of Michelin, they're not thinking, hey man, it's deep learning, deep tech, uh, you know, all the neural networks. So please talk to our listeners about it.
Yeah, but in fact, we do all of those. We've really built a deep expertise in AI over the last few years. And I'll talk more broadly, not just on AI, but the digital data AI technologies. What we focus on for at Michelin is number one, to increase to increase our competitivity, of course. For example, we are able to, our research engineers are able to predict the impact of a change in design, in a tire, a proposed change in design on a tire on our supply chain, and therefore we are able to, anticipate certain impacts, and therefore, really use this kind of prediction anticipation to bring down, the time to market of our products. We also are looking at AI from a very important perspective, which is to, really bring best in class working conditions to all of our workforce. Of course, what we would like to do is to have, safe working conditions that are enjoyable for our workforce. But of course, we have certain workshops where there are repetitive tasks that are required over a long period of time, non-ergonomic tasks. And for example, like, we have tire inspection, which was one touch task. And so over the last several years, we've built out a patented, world leading technology using computer vision, using deep learning, that essentially inspects the tire for surface inspections. And for those who are involved in the process, they then become, their job is transformed to really focusing on, reviewing what is flagged by the machine, which is the most valuable part, of their role. Yeah, and of course, improving on the ergonomic aspects of the role, of the job, as well. The third aspect that we're looking for from AI at Michelin is, of course, from a sustainability perspective. For example, we've put into place in some of our plants an ability to monitor changes in deviations in the production processes and the impact that it could have on the consumption of raw materials. And through this, we've been able to really bring down the consumption of raw materials, and as you can imagine, a sustainability impact. So, quite a few exciting things going on.
Yeah. So, you're working on your supply chain to improve your supply chain. You're working to maybe make things better for your workforce. And then, obviously, from a preventive maintenance standpoint with tire inspections, your computer vision. So, that's pretty exciting. I mean, you don't have to get to do some of the things, the traditional stuff. And then finally, on sustainability, which I think is a very important issue for Michelin, you're also using AI to do that. So those are some pretty exciting applications to learn about for our, uh, listeners who are your peers, and obviously some of the people who are thinking of Michelin from a employment standpoint too. Um, Ambika, uh, tell us about how does Michelin work to ensure the responsible and ethical development of its AI technologies? Because there's been a lot of focus and attention paid towards that.
Yes, thank you for highlighting this aspect, Sanjay. It has been a very important aspect for us. Consistently, over we've from the from when we've really begun to focus on AI as a technology. We are of course also cognizant of the growing legislative landscape. The EU published the EU AI Act, last week, if I'm not, or a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. But what we believe is that as sophisticated users of the technology, we have a responsibility to deploy the technology in a way that is in line with our with Michelin values. Even beyond the scope of the regulation. We've in fact drafted a set of principles that we follow. For example, like the AI that we developed is in fact focused upon augmenting human intelligence rather than replacing it. We look at aspects where we are able to bring productivity benefits, but also greater job satisfaction to our coworkers, through AI. Of course, needless to say, within the scope of this kind of responsible AI approach is also, the aspects around, the legal compliances, including, data privacy. All of these are, we have a compliance by design approach towards AI, towards developing AI in our implemented within Michelin. We have a process which is in fact an educative process for our AI practitioners, our stakeholders to go through, so that we are, consistently increasing the awareness and understanding of what is a responsible AI approach within Michelin.
Well, that's great. So it's a very deliberate action that you have, Ambika. So, Ambika, you talked a lot about the different applications. You talked about supply chain. You talked about, you know, uh, tire inspection and things like that. In my conversations with a lot of chief AI officers, one of the low-hanging fruits, so to speak, comes across as customer-focused applications, whether it's chatbot or others. Is Michelin looking to AI to interface with customers also?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, we have deployments of AI powered chatbots that are there. We use AI to understand, to give us early indications of the perceptions of our products from our customers. It's certainly an aspect that is well covered within Mission.
No, that's good to know. Um, so, talk a little bit to our users and to our listeners about some of the specific AI technologies that your company is utilizing.
So it's in fact it's we get asked this question a lot, so
Mhm.
people want to know, well, what kind of AI does a tire company really
Right.
do. In the first place, we are not, we are not just a tire company. We have, we manufacture, a number of other composites. We also have a services business in the around and beyond tire area, and of course, a number of, ventures that are, actually come out of our entrepreneurship program. But we get asked this question a lot. In fact, we what I can say is that we have a very a broad view of AI as a technology. So yeah, we have specific guilds set up, in fact, for computer vision, for natural language processing or Gen AI, for connected, to understand Industry 4.0, to look at the impact of how we can use AI in our engineering R&D. And in fact, these are well developed forums and communities within Michelin, with many computer vision use cases, Gen AI use cases, going into the hundreds that are being researched and worked on at any point in time, by our data scientists, our AI practitioners. We have, we have a very deep engagement, within the and interest among our, stakeholders to really, we constantly see new use cases that are coming up, even from, like our legal departments, for a lot of work with our, human resources folks. So it really spans across. What I would like to point out, maybe as a differentiating factor, is that we have an aspect that we call our Moonshots program. And the focus of this is really to identify long-term technology trends and that we believe are important to investing in. So, for example, we were looking at GAN's generative adversarial networks several years ago, and we were generating, for example, what is considered to be a great use case today, which is to augment training sets of images. We were doing already researching and doing this several years ago, and so we so we look at any point in time, we let's say we have some of these bets, if you will, on what we believe are going to be important technologies, and we identify matching use cases with them. We build partnerships with universities, with startups, and we develop solutions in them, and that really has really driven a deep research focus. So one of my strong beliefs, Sanjay, is that while it's an absolute, I mean, it's the high point, I would say, of my career path to see AI really leave the ivory tower and become democratized. Having said that, at the core of it, AI is a science as much as it is a technology. The research and the investment and expertise is at the core of being able to do AI well.
Yeah, I think a couple of points for our listeners is that I think what Ambika is saying is they're not a tire company per se, they're really a mobility company because they span an entire range of activities, and you are doing some really cutting edge tools which really have a big impact on the business. Having said that, Ambika, and this is something that we discuss a lot with chief AI officers. There is a report from Sequoia recently that came out. There's a report, that talks about the return on investment or the business impact of AI.
Yeah.
How do you assess whether it's tangible or it's intangible? Some of the uh, business impacts for some of these investments that you're making?
Yeah. So in fact, that's a great question, Sanjay, because I believe the reason behind our successful journey on AI within Michelin has really been our focus on two aspects. So one has been, of course, the transformation aspect, which is building trust, building relationships, evangelizing the technology itself. But the other part has been a real focus on value realization from the technology. AI lends itself to exploration, and Michelin has exploration. That's in our DNA. And essentially, it is, while it seems a daunting task at the beginning to really say, hey, what? Here's a proposal for a POC to do. What is the value that what is the ticket size, so what is T-shirt size, of value that one could expect from this. In fact, what we did was we essentially, a few people in my team, are leading this discussion, and over time that they have understood all the various scenarios and ways in which we would be able to project forward or even capture this kind of value. And it could be tangible, it could be intangible, it could be, in terms of efficiencies, it could be in terms of productivity increase. But we have found over time, through deliberation, ways to actually quantify that. At the same time, we are very clear that the dollar number, in fact, it doesn't really, it's not what is important. What is important is that we are setting a momentum, and that we are the dollar amount or euro amount is in fact an indication of our ambitions rather than a very precise measurement of any kind.
Well, that's fantastic to know. So, Ambika, that kind of implies that there is strong C-level support for this kind of initiative. Talk to our audience, because one of the things that chief AI officers talk about that makes things successful in an organization is, having that kind of leadership support. What kind of visibility or support does AI or AI initiatives get within Michelin?
It is so we have a strong hub and spoke model
Mhm.
that we have put into place, where the hub of the data science and AI organization sits within the IT organization, and we work very closely with the spokes, which are teams in the various in the various whether it could be R&D, or it could be manufacturing or supply chain, or maybe the aviation business or the truck business, various lines of businesses. And the projects that come out from this kind of from this kind of aspect, they are, of course, a part of the business steering. So, having them visible to the business leadership as part of business steering, that has been, a critical way for us to be able to drive this. In addition, we have a strong sponsorship in terms of driving AI acceleration itself. From the senior leadership, and the focus of it is really, to bring benefits from this technology to the company.
Yeah, so strong. One comment that you made, which was very interesting, Ambika, is that you have various partnerships, whether it is academic, startups, or other stuff, etc. This is for your peers, but also for entrepreneurs who are listening to them. Talk, why is that important to build a little bit of an ecosystem that you have done, whether it's academic research or innovation startup partnership? So talk a little bit about that.
Yes, absolutely. So, in the first place, taking a step back and looking at the technology itself, AI, it's my strong belief that AI is one of the it's I think it's the leading human endeavor that has really grown in a community-driven, democratized way. Open source and communicate and contributing to open source is the ethos of AI. And the fact that AI has grown to where it is today with such an impact on all of us, is, in my opinion, really due to this this open source ethos, this open community ethos, where practically every research, every new model, every new architecture that has come up in AI has been essentially released into the world in the form of of a Python library that's that everybody else can access and build upon. So from that perspective, we really do believe in in being very open to the outside world. At the same time, building a strong internal expertise. So it's really a two-way, a two-pronged strategy that we have. And our commitment essentially is to build best-in-class AI solutions. Now, that could be that we build them fully internally, or we find a external partner that's able to build with us, or we are able to take a combined approach. And in fact, we have examples of all of these. In fact, we've just launched a large AI startup AI challenge to startups in India,
Mm.
together with the government of India. We announced it last week, and it's focused on something very interesting, which I believe is the future of AI, the next wave, which is building AI agents for various use cases.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I saw that announcement. I think it's with DPIT.
It's with
That
deep.
you, that's congratulations. So, to startups who are listening, please, apply to this challenge. And but it also leads to the question, and this is where people who are talent, AI talent, one of our missions, which I told you about, is to democratize AI talent. That there are companies like you that are doing some incredible stuff, and it's not just Google, OpenAI, and others that uh, provide an opportunity. Uh, Michelin, as Ambika has clearly stated, is innovative. There is an opportunity for innovation and a culture of innovation that exists, right, Ambika, for people who join Michelin?
Absolutely. We have, in fact, we have, specific, innovation programs that are focused on even building new business ideas internally. So it's not just incremental innovation. We really support disruptive innovation as well.
Disruptive innovation. So, Ambika, for the talent that is listening to you right now, what talk about two or three things that you look for when you're looking to bring somebody onto your amazing team?
Yeah. So, for me, the first is, as I said, the while AI continues to democratize, the kind of AI that we build, it really is, both from the democratized aspect, but also, from the deep research specialist, data scientist, expert data scientist perspective. So fundamentally, we are looking for those who are, eager to build solutions, who have a passion for this area, but have backed up that passion with, with a good amount of study, with with focus, with investment in their own craftsmanship, in their own excellence in the area that they have chosen of AI to work in. But I think I would like to switch it a little bit the other way around and then talk about why it's a great place to work, and
Hmm.
we are, we rank well, we consistently rank very highly
Yes.
in great place to work, as well as on LinkedIn, in terms of companies to work for. And it's really, to do with, as I said before, a really people focused culture that balances people profit, people ex profit, ex planet, where it's a balanced approach across the three. And this really, not only brings puts a working culture that is respectful, a working culture that allows people to really be who they are, but also, it really brings a sense of purpose, because there is a Michelin is a purpose driven company, and this brings a lot of meaning to our workforce, and we really enjoy a wonderful culture. It's why we've been able to build, we have long tenures from our with our colleagues, and and very much enjoy a spirit of innovation, a spirit of contribution to the broader community at Michelin.
No, that's great. So, a purpose-driven culture, a culture of innovation. I think that's tremendous. Uh, Ambika, just talking a little bit about data. Data is the backbone, as you know, for AI. How, you deal with vast amounts of data. How do you make sure, there is data security, data privacy, etc.? Talk to your peers a little bit about that.
Yes. So, in terms of in terms of data privacy, in terms of data security, we have we have a clear say identifications, and tagging of all the data that is there. We have a full-fledged data mesh implementation with owners assigned to all domains of the data that have this understanding. We have state-of-the-art data platforms that essentially are secured by design, that have all the aspects of access control, security. All of these are available by design. At the same time, we are consistently innovating in the area how to essentially make available the latest technologies, the latest stack, but in a completely secure fashion. An example would be, where that we have essentially, have together with Microsoft implemented an internal, have an internal implementation of a playground for Gen AI, which is completely secure, in which any of our of our colleagues can essentially go on there, access Gen AI capabilities, but on and be completely safe in an environment that essentially keeps our it keeps the data at the right confidentiality level. What is I would say trickier on the aspect of data, is really aspects around making sure that the data that is to be used, that needs to be reusable, is in fact at the right level of quality, is trustworthy. So this is an aspect that has been a great deal of focus for us in our data governance organization in the last couple of years.
So that data that is can be reused and has tremendous quality. That's very, very good to know. Uh, Ambika, how does Michelin approach the challenge of interpretability and explainability of AI models, particularly in safety critical applications?
Yes, I think it's a wonderful question. It's also, at the an aspect of the AI Act. So as I said, there's a regulatory aspect, of course, that is now coming into it. So even from a personal standpoint, explainable AI, interpretable AI has been a point of interest for me for many years now. It's a field that, in my opinion, it's insufficiently funded, insufficiently focused upon. Because at the end of the day, AI is a technology where we are really able to build models of processes that are multidimensional. And the fact of the matter is that once you have a model, then you can apply mathematical operations and really begin to look into the model. And what then this reveals is the underlying driving factors behind the predictions or recommendations that or the what's generated by the model. And this in and of itself is something that can bring deep insights to everyone concerned, that is involved in the process. It can help them to understand why certain things are happening. So not just predict, but understand why certain things are happening. So this is an area where we've had collaborations with various researchers. We consistently have been looking at the space for a while. Certain methods like Shapley and Line have become now state of the art, but certain more advanced ways to do things, specifically looking at causation and things like that. It's still an ongoing area of research, and we talk to wonderful startups like Causal Lens and so on to really understand what is the state of the art or in this area and how we can bring it to Michelin.
So that's a area of focus and area of concern, and obviously a lot of work is being done by Michelin on that. Uh, Ambika, what role does your team of AI ML experts and data scientists play in driving your AI strategy?
Oh, well, they are at the heart of it, because at the end of the day, as I said, expertise is at the heart of AI. And
Mhm.
so in each so I what I say is that at the end of the day, my job is quite simple. This is it, if I'm able to ensure that each of my data scientists is really passionate and excited about the projects about their pipeline of projects for the next couple of years, my job is done. Because once you are able to sort of align the passion of a person, the innate passion of a person, with what is expected of them, in the job role in the company, you get then results that we really we that are really at a different level.
No, that's great passion getting them aligned. Ambika, just to now turn a little bit towards you, you had a very, very interesting journey. And this is, a little bit for your peers as well as people who are looking to be inspired, people who want to grow up to be you. Uh, what are your views on mentorship? I mean, is that an important aspect? And if
I mean, it's been honestly, it's been the honor of my and pleasure of my career to have had, to have been a mentor and and a coach to many of those who have I've had the opportunity to work with. It's something that is really meaningful for me because, as I said, what I view as the core of my job is to really enable those that I'm in contact with, to be able to find real meaning, in what they do, to really enjoy coming to work every day and find real meaning, in their role, in their job role. So and sometimes this is not such a straight path. It certainly wasn't for me. It's something that requires reflection. It is certainly helpful to to have someone that you can bounce your thoughts, your doubts, your questions off of. So I'm very very happy always to provide a safe space for that, to provide a listening ear, and to really be of service to whoever I can in this regard.
so, mentorship to our listeners who are looking at it is a very important aspect. Ambika really thinks it adds a lot of value, and she does mentor a lot of people who are on their different paths of journey. So that's great to know. Um, Ambika, when you look into the future as a leader in this very fast emerging field, what emerging trends do you see shaping the future of AI in your industry?
So I will not reserve my comments only to the mobility industry because after all, Michelin is an enterprise with 130,000 people, and really AI has become, as I said, the democratization of it is a vast perspective, has become a vast trend. So the first aspect that I'd like to address, in terms of where I see AI growing, and which I would say the one I'm most, excited about, there was a time when the epitome of human intelligence was, being able to compute accurately, let's say a list of additions or subtractions or, equations.
Mhm.
This was believed to be the epitome of human intelligence, and of course, what we did as a human society, we essentially found ways to automate that. And what happened was that our understanding of what is human intelligence, in fact, grew. And our own the value that we placed on how we think shifted beyond computation, accuracy in computation, to essentially interpretation, to understanding, things like that. And that is where I believe, that's the cusp of which we are with the AI, with the wave of AI democratization. What we are going to see that process again, if not already in process, where essentially we are going to see certain tasks which feel like the epitome of human intelligence today. It feels like that's today, like that to us today. Oh my God, AI is able to write an article, or AI is able to produce a very good summary of a particular consulting case or something like, or a legal opinion. Now, what we feel or is able to pass, the US, the high school exams and so on. So what we feel is the epitome of human intelligence, a measure of it, if you if you will, today, AI seems to be getting there. But what I'm most excited about, and I'm positive is going to happen, is that this is again going to result, as it has many times in the future of humanity, to broadening our understanding of what human intelligence itself is. And I believe that this will lead us to a space which will increase, the satisfaction that as workers we take from our job environments, from our roles, because in fact there are many precedents of exactly this happening, in history. What I'm also excited about, a second aspect on AI, I'm really excited about is agents. Agents now are AI models that are able to, access multiple forms by structured, unstructured data. They are able to understand patterns from them. And given a goal, they are actually able to evaluate multiple paths, multiple ways to accomplish that goal, find the optimal one, and even go ahead and execute them. Okay. So this again, may sound like, oh, you know what, AI is going to take over the role, take over the world. But again, having agent AI agents, working in this way can again, automate and also bring great value, uh, not just through automation, but in fact breaking of knowledge silos. The access to information is really what is going to completely break down, because through the democratization of AI. So that's so it's an exciting word that we are growing into.
Yeah, very exciting. And you're putting your money where your mouth is. You're interested in agents. You've got a competition for startup competition for agents. So I think that's very, very cool. So, and agents, some people say, hey, agents could be getting us close to AGI. But as you said, human intelligence, it breaks down barriers, democratizes AI. That's fantastic. Ambika, towards the end, we do a quick lightning round of questions, like where your peers also give us some answers, and that we, at the end of a large number of these things, we create this cloud to get a sense of how leaders like you are thinking. So, just one word answer, if possible. Um, and you kind of answered some of them indirectly before, so we'll make it easy for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Ambika, GPUs or TPUs?
GPUs.
Python or R?
Python. It used to
Uh,
be R before. I'm a little sad to say Python, but
yeah, I get that. We get that answer a lot, believe me. There has been a transition. The torch has
yes,
been passed.
yes.
Um TensorFlow or PyTorch?
I would say TensorFlow.
Okay. Cloud or on-prem?
Both.
We get that answer a lot too. Uh, Supervised or unsupervised learning?
Both semi-supervised and any combination thereof.
Okay. Structured or unstructured data?
Of course, both.
Both. Uh, you gave an answer to this, but I'm still going to get a direct answer from you. Open source or proprietary AI software?
I'm going to say both because there is a space for both. Certainly, we do not plan to open source everything, but huge proponent of open source wherever we can.
Because you have been a big proponent prior to this on open source. So, but as you said, there's a place for both of them. Ambika, there are a lot of people who are listening, C-level executives of Fortune 500 companies or chief AI officers. The C-level execs are looking to build out their AI organizations, and chief AI officers are looking to build out their AI capabilities. Uh, from your journey, talk about some of the key lessons you've learned, and what advice would you give to these organizations?
So I think um, the first piece of advice I would say is, to build a community. um, at the end of the day, technology is grown by communities. And by community, I mean, community of experts, of expert data scientists that can feed on each other, discuss with each other, but also, together with that, and what I call friends and family, a
Mhm.
community of AI practitioners in your organization that are really willing to engage, that can actually then over time, build the trust and become ambassadors, as well for the technology, but as well, point out when things are, going a little bit off, can hold the mirror for you, so that, you're not in a technology or ivory tower bubble, but really, it's a community, that is being held together, that's really growing AI. And this is something we put a lot of effort into over the last several years at Michelin. The second aspect that I would advise is to really focus on adoption. And I say this because I think the it's easier, in some sense, to focus on the research aspect and harder to focus on the adoption. Because what I tell my teams all the time is, the AI models that we build, right? At the end of the day, they change processes. So it's
Mhm.
not our job that's going to change. We are in fact in the business of, having the asking our colleagues essentially to, change the way that they are doing their jobs. So, having that empathy, during the adoption process, focusing on it really, all aspects of it, making it as easy as possible from a technology perspective for future teams to really focus on innovation rather than aspects like security or things like that, making all those sort of out of the box so that you really throwing the door open in a secure way for innovation. All these can be hurdles to adoption, and so really focusing on adoption is the second piece of advice that I would give. And the third one I've already spoken about, so I won't say that again, which is of course a focus on value.
So those are great points. Build a community of experts, change management with empathy, and then focus on value driven, purpose driven. So for chief AI officers who are listening, great lessons for CEOs of Fortune 500 companies who are looking to set up or have set up. Uh, I think these are just fantastic observations from Ambika. Well, that concludes our fascinating conversation with Dr. Ambica Rajagopal, the Group Chief Data and AI Officer at Michelin. Ambika, thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. It's been truly enlightening to learn about your innovative approach to AI and the vital role it plays in shaping the future of mobility. And to our listeners, we hope you've gained valuable perspectives from this episode and a deeper understanding of the pivotal role Chief AI officers play in driving AI strategies. So until next time, keep exploring the world of AI and remember to tune in for more insightful conversations on the CAIO podcast. Ambika, thank you. It has been just a delight. There were so many other things I could have talked about, but maybe we'll have you again. But it's been a great having you on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. In fact, yes, I mean, your questions were really, wonderful, thoughtful, insightful. It really gave me an opportunity to, talk about something that has been my life's work that I'm really passionate about. So, thank you for that, Sanjay, and thank you to your listeners for supporting a podcast like this that throws a light on the kind of work that we do.
Thank you so much.